Hi, I'm Ted from Everything Attachments, and we're today with the landscape rake. This is actually one of the rakes that I designed myself. This is put together here in this building. And it's gonna be a hard video for me to do, and this has been a hard piece for me to finally complete because I'm such a perfectionist that it just takes me a long time to get everything like I want it, and I'm almost there. So I'm gonna tell you what I've got so far and what changes will be made. The only real change that's gonna be made to this is the color, and I'm gonna explain why this is black and what we're doing differently. I'm gonna try to go through the whole thing with you. To start with, this hitch is compatible with a quick attach. It's a clevis style hitch with two pieces and a pin instead of a single pin, making it twice as strong and easier to hook up, and it's much better for a quick attach if that's what you choose. It will also work with a John Deere iMatch hitch. It's extended out a little bit to be able to swing the rake around without hitting your tires. On the kickstand here, we've used square instead of round because if you've ever tried to find the hole on a round pipe, it's pretty difficult. So that way it's easy to find the hole on the square being in a square where it can't turn, and it's just every little thing that I've done to make the whole thing better. Spin me around just a little bit, and we're gonna start with where we adjust. Here, the other way, Peanut. All right, right there. On the pin where you do your adjustment, this has 8 different angling positions on the forwards and the reverse position. Now, I hand punch these myself, and if you'll notice, the pin, it fits really tight. You barely can move it to either side, but it does have some room from front to back. All right, so that keeps the play out of the back. What most companies do, so if there's any difference in the manufacturing between here and here, most of the companies are simply using a big hole with a small pin, which takes out their tolerances as things move, but it keeps it from being tight. It's hard to make this slot, and because it has to be indexed completely in a circle with the center of this main pin. Now, and I'm using a nice chain on this so you don't lose it. And also, if you'll notice on most of your attachments that have a pin that you adjust, you'll find yourself when you pull it out, you start back in, and the first thing you have to find is the hole that's simply on the bottom side of this tube. So I've sleeved this whole tube, so no matter what, you're gonna be able to find the hole. You're not gonna be lost in the middle of this tube. So that's one more advantage. I've also taken the expense of using a nice 2-inch threaded, really hard shaft in this that shouldn't bend, and you're able to adjust this really tight to take out the play there. So it's just everything that I keep telling you just keeps making a better product. Now, we've been a dealer for Woods, which makes a good product. We've been a dealer for Land Pride. We've been a dealer for those for many years, a long time in the past. We're not currently because we're an internet-based dealership, and at this time, they're not ready. They've both called us about doing it, but since they haven't done it, we just decided to go ahead and make our products better than theirs, market our own products, and forget about trying to be a dealer for Land Pride or Woods. So what we're trying to accomplish here is a better product than anyone has at a price that's much cheaper than, say, Land Pride or Woods would be. But it is gonna be a little bit more expensive than the cheap junk that's out there that can be bought, just simply because it's quality by design. That's our trademark, and we're making them in-house. And I'll go over the paint for just a minute. These will end up a different color. I did some research from Tractor by Net of what people liked in general as a color. The color that was the most popular is Caterpillar Yellow. That's not a bad color. The only thing that I have against Caterpillar Yellow is my lot is full of Caterpillar Yellow stuff, and I'm sort of getting tired of looking at it. But besides that, at this point, my brother is Construction Attachments, which builds the best skid steer attachments in the industry. The type of paint system that he uses at Construction Attachments is an electrostatic paint system. It's similar to powder coat, but it's not powder at all. It does use paint, but what it does is the paint goes through a core that charges like a negative ion with the paint, and then the frame is hooked to a system that's on rollers that grounds the system, and then the paint is sprayed with an airless gun under pressure. That means that we can keep the paint with a constant stirrer on it, and this gun is ready anytime that we want to paint that particular color. It's very difficult to change colors. But when you electrically charge the implement and spray it with an airless system that's electrically charged, then paint goes into all the crevices, the cracks, the welds, up in the holes. There's a hole in the back of this where you grease this main pin. We took a flashlight and looked up in there after this was painted, and as far as you can see, there's paint. So it's a lot better paint job than I can do in my common paint booth here with just a regular spray gun. No matter how hard I try with primer and everything else, this electrostatic paint is better. So we're putting in a separate system there for the color that I pick, so we can have more than just black. Every skid steer attachment he paints is black, and that's what commonly would be done with buckets and so forth. So that's what we've done for this unit, and it simply just makes a better, longer lasting paint. So you will get a different color, and it's gonna be painted electrostatically in the future. So we're gonna turn this on around, and I'm gonna show you some more improvements I've made. Our Peanut's having a little trouble with our wheel. All right, stop right there. Okay, now the tines are what does all the work, so your rake is no better than the tines that you put on this. So I've started out with the best tine that I can find. I've researched this the best I can. You can buy the worst tines made in China. You can buy a fairly decent tine that's made in India. And the best tines come out of Italy. So far, I've not really been able to find a tine at all that is a US tine, and that's unfortunate. One of the manufacturers I talked to, actually, we talked about making our own tine and getting them heat treated to be a spring tine, and that's a lot of the trick. It's a special alloy and a special heat treating process that makes a good tine that will spring but not break. So there's some things I've done here to make this better. To start with, this has 6 inches of contact area where the tine is flat to give you some surface area there just to make it better, okay? But then there's some things you don't see. Right here is a line in the middle of this beam where there's only a 3-degree bend. Because to make the landscape rake work well, these tines need to work like springing fingers and not be solid. If you'll see some of the cheaper rakes, which I can show you a picture of right here, then you'll see that they're locating a bar all the way across the back here. Basically, this will be much thinner, it will be bolted, and will have no way of controlling the tine from going left to right. So what they do to make it stronger and keep their tines from moving around is they put a girdle, is what I call it, which is 2 strips of metal that run all the way across every tine and have a bolt between them. But what that does is it makes the tine get solid, more like a scrape blade with grooves in it. And that's not what you want. You want those tines to work like fingers so it keeps the dirt getting removed off of your debris and not collected. You want them to work as much like a spring as you can. So that 3-degree bend right there lets the first 2 inches on both sides of the bolt be solid and straight. And then after that bend, it lets me have an 1/8 of an inch air gap here at the top. So as it's pulled, it preloads that tine and gives it some extra pressure before it finally puts its final load here at the end on it. And then it also is capped at the bottom, so if you want to back up or something, it doesn't. If you back up with a rake that doesn't have something holding it at the bottom, even if it's a mistake by backing up, you can easily bend these tines or break them in the other direction. So this tine is protected in both ways, and it's set to be just a better spring working tine. So then we'll go to the tail wheels here. This particular tail wheel is a laminated tail wheel similar to what would be on a bush hog. Now we've done some extra things to make this better. This particular shaft goes all the way down to a second piece, making this yoke stronger. And this is all cut out of one machine. In other words, this, just to give you an idea, this particular piece is made on a machine called a Whitney. It can cut with a plasma and punch at the same time. It's a $700,000 machine. So we're not doing it just with cheap machinery, we're doing it the right way. So this is all cut in a Whitney, this piece here, then bent, and then put with the second brace in here. And then we do some simple things like I noticed on most of the rakes that we had. Well, they had an axle through the center, and there is bushings in the center of this wheel that can be greased, but when you spun it, most of the axle here would spin with it. So then that would actually wear your yoke. So we cut part of the washer off, welded a tab here, and no matter what, the axle cannot spin, and it will have to spin where the bushings are and where the grease gets. So it's just a matter of trying to keep, I've had probably 5 different designs that I've scrapped and changed to come up with what, for now, is my final design. So we're looking at a color somewhere between Caterpillar yellow and Woods product yellow, which is kind of a burnt orange, is probably what we'll come up with as our color. If you've got some suggestions, give us a call, tell us what you'd like. But we've painted the tines on this yellow just to give you, so you can see them. They're gonna come black no matter what color the frame is gonna be. Your tines will be black. We've painted them yellow just for this video so you can see them better. But it takes a lot to just get every piece of machinery right that we're doing. So far, we've perfected the garden better and the landscaping rake, and we're working on many attachments right now that are in product development, and just simply trying them, make sure that we've got them built heavy enough and that everything is right before we show them to you as the final product. This is a final product. They're now available for sale. We hope that you'll buy all your attachments from Everything Attachments, and we hope that soon that everything that you buy will be an attachment made by us. Give us a call or an email, and we'll be happy to help you.